Are you ready to transform your pool into a stunning oasis? At Mainland Pool Service, they're a family-owned business committed to keeping your pool looking pristine all year round. They believe that pool care should be proactive, not reactive, which is why their skilled team handles everything from routine cleaning to complex issues with precision. They prioritize clear communication and personalized solutions to exceed your expectations. Join the Mainland Pool Service family today and experience the difference their expertise and dedication can bring to your relaxation retreat. Contact them now at mainlandpoolservice.com.
Junior Grizzlies summer camps presented by Ortho South are the key to a slam dunk summer with over a dozen 4-day camps perfect for hoopers ages 6 to 14 looking to build fundamental skills and make unforgettable memories. With camps across the Mid-South in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas, you won't have to go far for the ultimate hoops experience this summer. Registration comes with a Junior Grizzlies jersey, lunchbox, and a basketball to take home. Don't wait, space is limited. Visit grizzlies.com/juniorgrizzlies today to secure a spot for a fun-filled summer. That's grizzlies.com/juniorgrizzlies.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle, producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't get too nervous yesterday when your University of Memphis Tigers were at one point behind, suddenly in overtime, up against it. In a battle with the Tulane Green Wave on a Sunday afternoon, there was a moment where, based on how UAB East Carolina was going, that the Tigers didn't close out Tulane. They were going to miss the American Conference Tournament. All's well that ends well. Overtime victory. Shouts to Quante Berry. Memphis is the 8th seed in the American. What does it mean for Penny Hardaway? We'll talk about all of that momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment, talk to Michael Eaves. He, of course, hosts SportsCenter for ESPN. Bring him in here and talk about a number of things, including an interesting weekend in the NBA. Michael Eaves will join me in the next segment. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, which one we're going to discuss. 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them your Memphis Grizzlies. Going to be back on the court tonight. Grizzlies Nets. It's up in Brooklyn. It's time to see who wants it less inside Barclays Center. We'll get you ready for that in about 40 minutes. Final weekend of the college basketball's regular season. It is in the books. 3 number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament are set. 1 remains up for grabs. I'll frame that picture for you. We'll do it in just a bit. The Miami Redhawks did it. Finished the regular season 31-0. They are a lock now to make the NCAA tournament. We'll celebrate mid-major excellence a little later on in the show. Sweet scene at Nebraska on Sunday. The Hoibergs celebrated senior day. Dad is the coach. One son's a key player. Another son is a manager. Mom and the 2 other siblings in the crowd taking it all in. We'll show you the pictures. We'll do it in the 3rd segment. And a woman has been arrested for firing shots at Rihanna's house.
Apparently so.
We sure it wasn't A$AP Rocky?
I don't think so.
He's the only one I know around there always firing shots, allegedly.
I don't think it was him.
That's good to hear.
It was a lady.
I would be disappointed. I would be disappointed if it was A$AP Rocky allegedly firing off guns again. Wild story out in Beverly Hills. I'll tell you what we know during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carryout. And we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with the University of Memphis men's basketball program because the Tigers played their final regular season game on Sunday down in New Orleans against a Tulane team ranked 206th in the net. In different times, this would be easy. But rarely have things been easy this season, Bennett, as you know. So we had to buckle up on Sunday afternoon. We needed 5 extra minutes to settle things. Final score, Memphis 96, Tulane 95 in overtime. In a battle between teams that finished 8-10 in the 10th best league in college basketball, the Tigers prevailed to secure the 8th seed in the American Conference Tournament. Let's call Quante Berry the star. He sank 2 free throws with 2.3 seconds left in overtime to take the Tigers from 1 point down to 1 point up. Then Rowan Brumbaugh, he missed a heave at the buzzer, so Memphis survived. Big Bet Bennett, it's good to see you on this Monday morning.
You too, man.
The Tigers have snapped their 7-game losing streak. It's officially over. Did you consume the victory over Tulane? If so, were you nervous?
I mean, it might as well have been the conference championship game.
Felt like it.
I was standing the entire second half. I wanted that win so bad.
Needed it.
Wanted that win, needed that win, and I'm glad they got it. It just, like, I knew, like, I saw this game when things started getting weird, and I said this to some friends.
Oh, and they got real weird.
Well, when things started getting bad once conference play started this season, and it was like, oh, this looks like it's not going to go well, I was like, I know somehow, some way, that game against Tulane and Ron Hunter at the end of the regular season is going to be massive for them for whatever reason. And it ended up kind of being that.
Well,
Ron Hunter is going to be it's so funny. You had these coaches that you remember, like, over the years that, like, coached against the University. Like, Mike Davis is on the staff right now. Like, he was a big character in the John Calipari era.
If you just start remembering old coaches who you remember coaching against the Tigers, just Perry Clark pops into your head.
Exactly.
Ron Hunter's going to be one of them dudes.
He is going to be, like, in the story of the Penny Hardaway era at Memphis basketball. Just so many weird games, upsets. Just it's wild. And guess what? We play him again this week.
Oh, can't wait!
Yeah.
Can't wait. Round three, Tulane. This is like a great boxing trilogy.
That it is.
Ron Hunter and Penny Hardaway, Tulane and Memphis is duking it out.
No, man, I'm glad they got the win. I really wanted it for Penny and those guys. Like, just again, I don't know what it means, if it means anything at all. I just know they needed a win badly.
Let's talk about that. First, let me just sort of walk you through where we were and where we are. Ultimately, yesterday, UAB did beat East Carolina. And so the Tigers were going to be in the American tournament no matter what. Mm-hmm. But there was a moment yesterday.
Yep.
Like if you just said, hey, we're done here.
Yep.
Everything stop right here. East Carolina was up. Mm-hmm. Memphis was down. There was a moment yesterday where it was like, if it ends just like this, they're going to miss the conference tournament.
Right.
And I was like, oh, no.
I know.
Like, don't make me talk about this.
I couldn't believe it because East Carolina was like a 12-point underdog or something like that going into UAB. So it was like, okay, well, they'll probably be fine. But it was looking bad for a second.
There was a moment where if you paused it, like you call up your scoreboard app, Memphis was behind and East Carolina was up. And oh my God, don't make me talk about this tomorrow. All right?
Yep.
But hey, shouts to Quante Berry. He sinks some free throws. We haven't always been so fortunate.
Where has that been, honestly?
Where's that been all my whole life?
Maybe he can string a couple of nice performances together in a row. That'd be awesome.
I wouldn't have minded having a Quante Berry back in 2008.
Yeah.
Could have used it. Turns out we could have used a Quante Berry back in 2008.
Maybe so.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? So there was a moment where it looked like it could be a disaster. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't. So Memphis is the 8th seed in the American Conference Tournament. Tulane is the 9th seed. And so round 3 is set for Wednesday.
Yep.
You win that one, you play Charlotte on Thursday. You win that one, you play UAB on Friday. You win that one, you're in the semifinals. You win that one, you'll spend Sunday playing for a trip to the NCAA tournament. 5 wins in 5 days. That's what it takes, Bennett. Can the Tigers do it?
I'm taking solace in this. I think it's Georgia State at Troy tonight. They are playing. They're on their 5th game in 5 days, playing for a conference championship tonight. And so it's like, okay. I saw that and I was like, okay. Do I think they can do it? No, I don't.
Right.
Just based on how this conference season has gone for them. But the one thing I will say, there is no team in the conference that like scares me.
Well, that's the other thing.
They could beat any of those teams.
So Jess asked me earlier, could they win it? And like, they're the 8th seed. So anytime you start a conversation with, I think the 8th seed could win, you're already like, you're already like getting a little weird with it. They're the 8th seed. They finished below 500 in this crap league.
Right.
That doesn't suggest they're going to win this crap tournament. But there are no great teams in this tournament.
No.
I mean, Brian's doing a great job at South Florida. He'll be rewarded for that at some point. But like, South Florida's 49th in the net. Tulsa's 50th. After that, there's nobody else in the top 79.
Yeah, I mean, would I bet my paycheck on Tulsa or South Florida winning this conference tournament?
Probably.
No, I wouldn't.
No, okay.
I'd be scared to, is what I'm saying.
Yes, okay, of course.
Yeah.
I hear your point.
Yeah.
This is up in the air. I do think Tulsa or South Florida will win the event.
Sure.
But would I bet my paycheck on it? No. A team that's not good enough to make the NCAA tournament otherwise is going to win the American tournament and get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Why not Memphis? So if the question is, can Memphis win it? Yeah, I guess somebody's got to. And there's no great teams in here. Somebody's got to.
Mm-hmm.
Memphis has still got the most talented roster in the league based off all the things you usually use to gauge such things. Memphis was the preseason pick. If you're looking for a long list of preseason favorites that struggle all season and then turn it around in the conference tournament, doesn't really exist. It's not like, it's not a normal thing. But could it happen? Sure. And so let's hope that it does.
Yep.
Jess also asked me this morning, will anything that happens in the conference tournament have any impact on what happens with Penny Hardaway moving forward? One direction or the other. And I said, I don't know, because I don't. And I think you should at least leave open the possibility that something could go so wrong that it leads to them saying it's time, even if I think that is unlikely. I think you have to leave open the possibility for that. But at this point, I said last week when I was talking to Jess on Friday that no matter what Memphis does, I'll understand why Memphis did it. And because everything you say gets twisted into something that's not, that got twisted into, so you can't even take a stand on the thing. I've already taken a stand on this. I've said what I think should happen. I've said what I think will happen. I've said what I think I would do if I were Ed Scott. I'll repeat it if you need me to. All I meant by the thing on Friday was, this is a complicated, hard thing, and I understand any decision that's made because I could talk myself into any decision that's made. Point being, if they decide after 8 years of this and all that falls underneath the umbrella of this, it's just not good enough and it's time to move on. Not enough NCAA tournament wins, not enough successful seasons relative to expectations, relative to the historical standard, too much NCAA stuff, too many just headlines that aren't ideal. It's just time. I would totally understand that. If they also said, it's Penny Hardaway and we're not going to give up on him yet, I would totally understand that. So when I said that, that's exactly what I meant. Nothing more, nothing less. I will understand what they do. Just like, Bennett, if you and I were at a restaurant tonight and you ordered a steak because you really like steak, I would understand why you ordered steak. Steak's great. That would make sense to me. But if you said, you know what, tonight I think I'm going to have fish, because that would make sense to me too, because like fish is great too. And either one of those options, I would understand why you're doing what you're doing. I might disagree with what you're doing, but I would understand why you're doing either one of those things. They're most sensible. I understand anything you do with Penny Hardaway after this season. I would understand why. Here's what I think will happen now. And honestly, if I were at Scott, what I think I would do. With the 7-game losing streak snapped. So you're not going to go into, at worst, you're going to go into the offseason on a 1-game losing streak as opposed to an 8 or a 9 or whatever. So now that that's done, here's the truth. I think if I were Ed Scott, this is what I would do. Assuming they lose in the conference tournament at some point. Because if they don't, then it's easy. He's off to the NCAA tournament, and you just celebrate it, and
right.
That's easy. I'm just saying they lose to Tulane or to UAB or to Charlotte or whoever. They lose. I think if I were Scott, and I've said this before, by the way, this isn't some news. I said this last week. Here's what I think I would do. I think I would stand up. I would hold a press conference, and I would say, we're bringing Penny Hardaway back for year 9 with clear standards that must be met, or else we'll have to reevaluate everything. We're not going to cute talk it. We're not going to dance around it tippy-toe. Penny Hardaway is coming back for year 9, not necessarily because the job performance suggests that he should, but because he is Penny Hardaway, and that's the truth. He's different. He is. And for people who don't understand that, then you just don't understand it. Here's the truth. Any other coach would have been gone by now. And any other coach, had they kept the job for 8 years, somehow, some way, would be gone after this season. That's the truth. I believe that to be true. I won't entertain anybody suggesting otherwise, because you're just wrong. If you can't acknowledge that, you don't even belong in the conversation. No other coach could survive these 8 years, period. No other coach would survive this season, period. If you can't acknowledge that, you don't belong in the conversation. But Penny isn't some other coach. He's Penny Hardaway. And here's what I know. I know that you could move on him after this season and justify it easily. It would also cost you, I believe, more than $5 million, and it would alienate part of your fan base, and it would ruin the relationship, or at least damage the relationship with Penny Hardaway dramatically, perhaps for a long time. Instead of do that, I would just bring him back. And I would say, I'm going to do what I've been doing, which is give him more money than anybody else in his league to roster build. Nobody should be able to have a more talented roster than my basketball coach, Penny Hardaway. I'm going to surround him with personnel to help him in his job. I'm going to give him, our favorite alum, every opportunity to pull his way out of this. And if he does, man, I can't wait for year 10. And if he doesn't, then we all know what has to happen next March. Period. And by doing that, you take what is an incredibly hard decision right now and costly decision, and you just kick it down the road, and it becomes an easy decision. In fact, a decision you don't even have to make. You could just sleep through the whole season, wake up when it's over. How'd Penny do this year? Won the conference and went to the NCAA tournament. Awesome. Good. Can't wait for year 10. How'd Penny do this season? Didn't win the conference and didn't go to the NCAA tournament. All right, I guess we're about to do a coaching search. And everybody will understand. The diehard Memphis fans who right now would be upset with you detaching from Penny Hardaway 1 year after a conference championship would have no reasonable reason to be upset if next season also falls short of conference championship, NCAA tournament, if he is once again the best funded basketball coach in the conference. Nobody would be able to argue. I think you take a hard decision now and you can make it an easy decision one way or another next March. And I'm not even saying that's the best thing for the program. I'm just saying I think it's the smart thing to do right now. Mm-hmm. The right thing to do right now. Also because I don't even know if you can get the money, even if you wanted to do it now. Think about this. Nobody minded the money people being the person who pulled the plug on Tubby Smith. That's easy. What rich Memphis person wants to be the person who pulled the plug on Penny Hardaway a year earlier than some people think you should?
Right.
That's who Ed Scott, if he's asking for money, that's what he's asking them to do. Right now, some fans don't think we should do this. Can you be the person that allows me to do it? If he's asking, that's what he's asking. And who wants to do that? I'm not saying nobody, but that's what you're asking somebody to do. A longtime Memphis fan who loves Penny Hardaway their whole life, you're asking him to be the person who pays millions of dollars to get him out of here a year earlier than some fans think he should. It's a hard ask.
Yeah.
This is a hard situation. And that's what I think should happen. If you need it on the record, I've said all this before, but here it is again. I think Penny Hardaway should come back for year 9 with clear standards for what is required to get a year 10. And he either does it and he gets year 10 or he doesn't. And then finally it's time to move on and everybody will understand. Right now you could make either decision and not everybody would understand. If you keep him right now, there's going to be some fans who say it's time to move on. If you move him right now, some fans will say, I can't believe you moved on. Whatever you do right now, there are going to be some fans who don't like it. If you put this off to next year and make it clear, do this, keep the job. Don't do this, lose the job. Everybody will understand. And for the people who wouldn't, like, you can't care about them at that point. They're silly at that point. That's what I think I would do. And that's what I think will be done. Michael Eaves is up next.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org.
Absolutely amazing. Wells, a rhythm three. Yes, sir! There's an exclamation point on this game.
Grizz fans, defend your home court from pests with Terminix. Before cockroaches, spiders, and mice show up, Terminix it with our pest-free 365 Plus year-round protection plan. Visit Terminix.com today and enter code SAVE50 at checkout to save $50. Terms apply. Go Grizzlies!
Nate Bargatze.
Look, I say a lot of dumb stuff. I try to keep it in front of large groups. Seems to go better that way.
Big Dumb Eyes World Tour.
When you say something dumb one-on-one, it's a lot for that person. I'll say it, then I can just feel that they feel the weight of my life on their shoulders.
Tickets and info at NateBargatze.com. Don't miss the Big Dumb Eyes World Tour. Nate Bargatze.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Show presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio, and on Mondays I'm joined by Michael Eaves, who, among other things, hosts Sports Center for ESPN. He looks like he's on a golf course this morning. Look at that. That looks nice. That looks nice. How you doing?
It looks nice. I'm in San Diego. I'm a little mad, though, because yesterday, Gary, it was like 80 degrees here. Today, when I'm playing golf, it's only going to be like 65.
Oh.
So I'm a little jaded.
I understand.
But considering my home zip code, I can't be that mad.
I just have been away from the golf course because of, it's college basketball. It gets very busy for me. And when I'm home, I feel like I don't need to bore you with my therapy session. I just haven't been out on the course lately. But I had this moment yesterday, I'm going to try to set a personal record for being out on the golf course as soon as this season's over. There's something about just looking at you right now, outside, trees. I want that scene makes me happy, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there regularly as soon as I can.
Here's the thing: you may not play golf well,
right?
But it's hard to have a bad day outside for like 4 hours.
Yes.
It's hard to do,
Yes.
right? So why would you not do it more often if you are able?
Yeah, like Cat Williams has a funny but also insightful little thing about this. Like I'm outside with the birds, and he's like, this is where I drink, this is where I smoke, this is where I have a good time. And you don't have to be even good at golf to really enjoy the golf course. And so
100%.
I appreciate you getting to do that today. Let's talk sports. Jason Tatum comes back from a ruptured Achilles roughly 10 months after tearing it. We used to think we see you do that in the postseason. We won't see you in the next season. Is this a Jason Tatum story, or is this where we are with medicine now?
I think it's maybe a little bit of both,
right.
Because he was committed to working on his rehab 6 days a week, which is not the norm, even for athletes of that stature. But we went through a period because there was a period about 15 years where it took like a year or more to come back from that. But if you go back prior to that, there was a little window where guys were coming back faster from an Achilles. Now, Kobe, obviously being Kobe, he came back only after 8 months, but his was not a full tear. His was just a partial tear. So that made the recovery a little bit better. But I think it is this blend of modern medicine, but also Jason Tatum's commitment to coming back so soon, because he wanted to be a part of this team, knowing full well that they had a chance to maybe get to the finals last year. And if he comes back, they definitely have a chance to do it this year. So I think it's the combination of those two things that he was able to come back in less than 10 months.
So it's interesting, like when the Celtics start offloading players, some of it for salary reasons, second apron, all that stuff. Do you think they anticipated this was possible? Because it almost felt like you punt on 2025-26 and then try to regroup for 26-27. Do you think they realized we might be in position to win the Eastern Conference in 26? Because that's where they are now. And yet I certainly didn't think that was going to be a thing when Jason Tatum went down.
I did not. And maybe it was you're trying to cover two bases.
Right.
So let's say he doesn't come back. And what position would that put us in if we don't have him out there, the likelihood of us being able to do that? So it's like, all right, well, let's put ourselves in position for 27 if that is indeed the case, right? But the way that Jaylen Brown has carried this team, and the way, I mean, we got to give Joe Mazzulla so much credit for his coaching job this year, that they outperformed everyone's expectations. Outside of their own, everyone's expectations. So now you're in a position like, all right, yeah, we did all that, but we get Tatum back. So then what does that even do for next year? Right? By being concerned about one thing, maybe they covered two bases where they could actually get to the finals this year and maybe, if not win it, be in a better position to win it next year.
And now you hear people ask the questions like, all right, Jason Tatum's back. We've always thought of this as his team, but Jaylen Brown's been like an MVP candidate this season. How is that going to work? And it just feels like the latest installment of us talking about the relationship between Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like, that seems to always be a topic of conversation, and yet they always just sort of dismiss it and like, we're fine and everything's cool and we don't care about these things you're talking about as much as you seem to care about them. Just what do you make of that dynamic?
I don't know why people care so much. Yeah. I really don't. I think we just have this natural desire to make someone 1 and number 2 or 1 and 1A. Right. And you go through the years of great teams, and I guess there was always one guy that, we made the face of that team. And for whatever reason, we keep trying to do that with the Celtics, even though seemingly to me, at least from the outside, neither Jason or Jaylen give a damn. They don't. They just go play. And if this year's anything, it has to be Jaylen Brown's team because Jason Tatum wasn't there. Now, if Jason Tatum's come back and then goes for, 30 on the average going into the playoffs and they go to the finals, and like, okay, then it's Jason's team. But who cares? I mean, how much does it really matter? Right? They're both paid so well. 1A, or 1 versus 1A doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things as long as you're winning. And they've already won a championship. They've been to a finals again together and lost. Now they're trying to get to a third. I think it's more about us than it is about them.
You know what? It only matters, to your point, if you let your ego get in the way of it. And often it does. Often it does matter when, whether it's Shaq and Kobe or Shaq and Penny. These things can sometimes matter. But these two men, I think impressively, have seemed to not allow it to matter, have seemed to not allow their egos to get in. And because I do think the discourse might might drive a wedge in between two other superstars. But at least to this point, they seem to have managed that, I mean, as well as you can.
Oh, it's totally about personalities.
Yeah.
It totally is. Like, if you don't care, then you don't care who does care.
Right.
Right? And certain players through the years, Shaq being maybe the best example, Shaq's ego is really big. Yeah. And early on, he just couldn't see the fact that some young kid could come in and take over his team. Yeah. But guess what? Eventually, he did realize that Kobe was a better player than him. Right? It came to that. Now, it led to some issues during their run. It probably prevented them from winning a couple other championships. But, I mean, you didn't have that with Michael and Scottie because it was Michael Jordan.
Right.
Magic Johnson is probably the best at it. When he first came into the Lakers, he said it was Kareem's team until it was clear that it was his, and no one even had to give that designation. It just naturally evolved, right? It is about the personalities and how you just allow them to grow within the constructs of the team.
So do we consider them now a real factor in the East? I mean, they're second in the state. I mean, they got to be, right? Yeah. And if you're the Pistons and the Knicks, you're like, what?
Hey, before Tatum came back,
right.
DraftKings said that the Celtics were the betting favorite to reach the finals in the East. That was before he came back. And then once he came back, those odds increased even more. But based on what we've seen from the East, especially these last 6 weeks, I think, I don't know how you can't pick the Celtics.
So last night in the NBA, we had KD and Wemby in prime time. Wemby, another nice performance. The Spurs are rolling. Just what do you make of everything that's happened in San Antonio, both with him and with that franchise, as a possible threat to the Thunder?
It's one of the best out-of-nowhere development of championship contending teams we've seen in a while. I mean, as great as Wemby is, and as great as the expectations were for him coming into the season, it's coming into his career, look how fast this has happened. And, oh, by the way, Greg Popovich is no longer the coach of that team. And due to his health issues, he hasn't been around that team very much. And look at what they've done. Like from the coaching staff to the front office to those young players on that team, they've all exceeded the expectation that you would have put upon them in the wake of Greg Popovich being in the situation that he is. I don't know how every award relative to executive of the year, coach of the year, maybe player of the year, MVP wise, should maybe come out of San Antonio.
Yeah, and I think sometimes culture can be overstated. Like, we use it as an explanation for everything, but like in San Antonio, it seems to be accurately stated. Like, it doesn't matter who the players are. It doesn't matter who the coach is. Like, that thing just always looks the same. Clearly, they get fortunate. They win the lottery in a year where Wemby's available. But that is one where they have gone through different front office members. They have gone through different coaches. They have gone through different franchise players. And it kind of always just looks the same. It's impressive.
Because two things they do. They draft well,
right.
And you think about all the draft positions they've had. They've never had top picks outside of Wemby and Tim Duncan going back, 2 generations. Usually they're picking towards the end of the first round, but then they develop those players, Gary, probably better than any organization in the NBA. I mean, even like Kawhi Leonard, when he came out of San Diego State, he could not shoot the ball. Look at him shoot it now. Look at how well he shot it before he left San Antonio. They developed players. Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker was a tremendous talent point guard, but he turned it over a lot. He was not a good shooter. Look how good he was at the end of his career. Like, they do that better than anything, and that speaks to the culture that regardless of your skill set when you get here, you're going to be a better player because of our culture. And as a result, we're going to be in the playoffs and we're going to win championships.
Last thing before I get you out of here, big NFL headline this morning. I know you're on the golf course, so I apologize if you didn't see it, but Tua Tagovailoa has been released by Miami. It's going to be like a $99 million dead money hit over the next couple of years. But they move on from their coach, move on from their quarterback, so they're starting fresh down there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And look, one thing Jerry West taught me, if anything, once you realize you've made a mistake, correct it as soon as possible. Don't wait. Don't let your pride and your ego delay you from doing what you know you need to do, because that just makes the problem worse. And if the Dolphins have now gotten to the point, it's like, this ain't it. All right, it's going to cost us money, but we need to get the solution started now as opposed to waiting down the road, because it would only make it harder to do.
That is Michael Eaves from Sports Center. Make sure you're watching him on Sports Center. Follow him on X at Michael Eaves. Get back out on that golf course. Make your putts.
Always. Putts are not the problem, Gary. That's not the problem.
Oh, well, they definitely are the problem over here. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
All right, man. Be good.
That's Michael Eaves out in San Diego on the golf course. I just like the way that looks. I just like a golf course, Bennett.
I know you do, man.
We got breaking news from the University of Memphis.
What's going on?
They have fired a basketball coach.
I am going to guess it was probably Alex Simmons.
It's Alex, not Penny. Alex Simmons is done after missing the conference tournament. She was 30-61 in her 3 seasons. This had, I think, been speculated about. I think this was the expected outcome. In fact, there was somebody who works in the industry yesterday who, I'll just keep it that simple, and they were like, hey, have you heard anything on Alex Simmons? And I was just being honest. I said, I heard that I think they're going to make a change, but I haven't heard anything about it since I heard that. And we just sort of left it there. And now it's official. Alex Simmons is out as the women's basketball coach at the University of Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, a lot like the men's program. I'm not sure like where it stacks, like if it's at the very top, but I know that they were funded well compared to the rest of their conference, peers, and they finish in last place. Yeah. So you knew, and you saw our comments like over the weekend. Did you see that what I sent you?
Just weird.
It's just like even if she said so, I should probably read it exactly so I don't speak out of turn, but I just didn't. It's just never going to behoove you to say that. Basically, she said, here, I got it right here. Memphis is a place that not many people wanted to come to, but she's speaking in third person. She said, Memphis is not a place that many people wanted to come to, but Alex Simmons did. Memphis is not a place that many people want to stay, but Alex Simmons does. I can understand the sentiment of what she's saying, I guess, but it's just something you can't really say, I don't think.
Like, we've got into this thing where, let's just keep this about Alex Simmons. Yes, that was a terrible quote. You don't say, like, thanks for wanting to be here when you think other people don't, but, like, you're not doing well at your job. Like,
yeah.
It was just a weird quote.
It was a weird quote.
But, maybe you'd say weird things, too, if your job was on the line.
That's probably true.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably true. You're gonna get defensive if you have an idea of where this is headed.
Yeah, like you see Stephen Pearl after Auburn's 15th loss of the season. He's sort of become the face of a lot of not great things in college basketball hiring and he's like trying to make the case that Auburn deserves in the NCAA tournament. And he sounds ridiculous. But like, you know why he sounds ridiculous? Because anybody trying to make the case that Auburn belongs in the NCAA tournament is going to sound ridiculous.
Yep.
But it's like kind of his job to do that.
That's right. If you're like, if you're first 4 out, you're going to be fighting for.
Well, yeah. I mean, I always think about this when I watch, say, a White House press secretary, regardless of the administration. Like, that's a hard job because sometimes you have to defend things that are hard to defend. Sometimes you got to sit up there and answer questions that are impossible to answer in any sort of sensible way. But that's the job. So you just do it as best you can. And I saw Stephen Pearl do that this weekend. And Alex Simmons was, that's she's just defending herself as best she could. But there's really no way to defend yourself when you're, losing as often as she was losing.
I don't know how, what their ceiling could be, Memphis women's basketball, but I know that they should be way more competitive than they had been. Evidence being that the previous coach before her was competitive before she got a better job, or at least a job that she, wanted more.
Correct. The previous coach was not fired. The previous coach did well enough to get a job that she preferred,
and she turned it around quick. Yeah. So I think that's in the American, that's probably a pretty good job.
And you said earlier, like, if Memphis men's basketball were to get a new coach, it'd probably take them, like, perhaps. But in this era, in this conference, at least on the men's side, you should be able to, if you know what you're doing, you should have the best roster in the conference next season, no matter who the coach is. The coach could be Penny Hardaway, you or me. If we know what we're doing, we should have the best or somebody new who's never coached in Memphis before. When you have the most money in this era of college basketball, especially in this conference, because there's no roster retention in the American anyway. Like South Florida's going to lose its best players, and Tulane's going to lose its best players, and it's just like on the football side. All the best American teams, they lose their coaches and their players. This will be similar, just not as dramatic. But there's no reason you can't flip it in one. Like Memphis basketball, I don't even care who the coach is next season. Memphis men's basketball should have the best roster in the American, period. And I'm not as in tune with the numbers on the women's side, but the next women's coach will be given a stick big enough to be competitive in the American, if not competitive at the tip top. What had been going on was not good and not good enough. And so you make a move on Alex Simmons, official this morning.
Yep.
And so I did have somebody ask me, like, does this, can you do two coaches in the same? Yes, the answer is yes, you can. But I do think it makes it more likely that you don't. It makes it more like I wouldn't want to be doing two coaching searches at the same time.
I was going to say one coaching search is easier than two.
Yeah. I'm on the record with Penny Hardaway. I think he's going to be back for 9th year, and I completely understand why. And if I were Ed Scott, it is what I would do. I said it last week. I reiterated it in the opening segment. That's what I believe will happen. But women's basketball, you have a new coach in place, and I really hope that they knock this thing out of the park.
I do too, man.
Women's basketball can matter. It's an untapped sport. If we like to think of ourselves as a basketball city, and we do, well, women's basketball is something that matters. Like, there are campuses in this country where women's basketball really matters. And when I was a student at Memphis, I don't want to pretend like it was the biggest thing on campus, but like, you always knew the player. I knew Joy Lee McNellis, and I knew Tamika Catchings, and I don't know. I couldn't name you one women's basketball player. I can't tell you the last time I could name you a women's basketball player. And so women's basketball it's a big deal now.
Just the sport in general, it feels like there's some untapped potential there.
I don't know that it could ever be a revenue sport at Memphis, but it is a revenue sport some places.
Right.
And it does matter more than it's ever mattered. And it would be nice if Memphis was good at it.
Yes.
It'd be nice if Memphis had a competent women's basketball program.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. We come back, turn our attention to the Grizzlies. Back on the court tonight, up in Brooklyn. It's Grizz Nets. Let's see who wants it less.
Okay, let's
see who wants it less. Dive into that next.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Fridays at FedEx Forum just got a whole lot more fun for the family. With the Family Friday ticket offer, a $35 game ticket gets you a $10 food voucher and access to pregame shoot-around. Additionally, for every 4 tickets purchased, you get an autographed item from the Grizzlies vault. Capture moments that last a lifetime for birthdays, youth groups, and other family-friendly celebrations. Visit grizzlies.com/Friday to grab your tickets today.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
The long goodbye begins. A very special evening with Journey. Final Frontier Tour. Journey. Tickets are on sale now at journeymusic.com. Your chance to say goodbye to the songs that changed our lives. Journey. Final Frontier Tour.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekends, during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more, orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
The Grizzlies will be back in action tonight. They're up in Brooklyn, Bennett. Grizz Nets.
Yes, they are.
Grizz Nets. Grizz Nets in Brooklyn, Barclays Center. It's time to see. It's time to see who really wants A.J. Devonson.
Ooh, it's going to be a hell of a week.
It's time to
4
see.
games in 5 days for your boy.
You
Catch
right?
me on radio tonight. I'm ready.
You
Yeah,
right?
let's go. Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Let me get you fired up for Grizz Nets.
I would love that.
Okay. It's going to be tough.
Okay, but do your best.
We're
And I'll
missing
do
a
my
lot
best. You do your best to fire me up, and I'll do my best to act fired up.
Well, we do have a revenge game situation tonight.
Expand.
Zaire Williams, he's been playing well for the Nets.
Yeah, but playing well for the Nets doesn't mean anything. It just means you're on.
Everyone has to score. Or someone has to score on a bad team.
That's right.
Someone has to put up numbers on a bad team.
As a basketball coach told me once, every team in the country's got a leading scorer, even the worst one.
Yes.
All right? Doesn't always mean they're good.
Correct.
But I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for him.
Glad to hear he's still in the league. I wouldn't have been so sure about that if you'd asked me.
I think he's found some staying power. We'll see.
Good for him.
We'll see how that
Good
goes
for him.
in Brooklyn come next season. But no, it's this one is. I'm not going to say it's a race.
You're supposed to be firing me up.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really sure who wants to win this game tonight.
I don't want to.
That's
I don't
the
problem. I don't want to win it.
No, everyone.
I hope Zaire Williams scores 50.
Everyone's sitting tonight. It's here's the thing.
What is the thing?
Saturday night was a lot of fun. That Clippers game here was a lot of fun. I know the Grizzlies lost, but it was a 1-score game in the final possession. They had a chance to tie it, and Ty Jerome misses a 3-pointer. I appreciated how that went down on Saturday.
You told me you were going to fire me up. Fire me up.
Okay, I'm firing you up.
Okay.
So they went for that on Saturday, and they lost. Like, the Clippers were the better team, but like they went for that. Like,
lost to a better team. Nothing you can do about that.
Nothing you can do about that.
Lost to a better
But,
team.
like,
It happens in basketball.
It was a really good crowd on Saturday night, and like that's all I ask, man. In this situation that we're in right now, like I like rooting for my team and wanting my team to win. And when you're like in the building and everybody's fired up and having a great time, like go for it, try to win it. And they did that, and they just came up short.
But against a better team. What are you going to do?
They just came up short against a better team. So that's a good formula for the rest of this way. When you got situations like that, go for it. And then when you're playing the Brooklyn Nets on a Monday night on the road, just whatever, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I love how every conversation about the Grizzlies leads back to, it is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
It's impossible to have a modern day conversation about the Grizzlies without eventually mumbling the phrase.
Yeah.
It is what it is,
Yeah. Pretty big injury report tonight.
Oh, man.
It's a pretty big injury report tonight. No Said. No Ty Jerome. He ain't playing again.
It's tough.
He almost got us a win on Saturday.
You need to sit. Sometimes, you got boys. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody gets too big for their britches, and you got to send them to their room.
Right.
And say, now, I know what you were trying to do, but you need to go to your room for a minute and think about what you almost did.
Yeah.
You need to go to your room and think about what you almost did, Ty Jerome.
Yeah. Scotty's sitting to.
So I hope he learns his lesson.
And Taylor Hendricks is, hey, Taylor Hendricks proven to be a pretty good player for the Grizzlies. He's out. He's rising tonight.
Bennett.
Don't come in here playing that well.
Bennett, if I'm going to say things like playing well for the Nets doesn't, then I have to also be fair and say, under this certain current set of circumstances, playing well for the Grizzlies doesn't necessarily mean you're. You know what I'm trying to say.
I do know what you're trying to say.
Are you falling in love with Taylor Hendricks? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm intrigued.
Okay,
My antennas are up.
Man.
I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I'm not going to say all that, but my antennas are up.
Give me a list of all the players you fell in love with because they could randomly score 17 points in a garbage game in a season going nowhere in the history of the Grizzlies.
That list is pretty endless. I could do that all day. But he's put together a lot of nice performances since he's been here.
Good.
So
yeah.
And listen, he's one of those guys. I said in the double post, like if you just like looked at both teams on Saturday night, you didn't know any of the players, didn't know anything about either team. You just like looked at the court and there's the team standing out there. You would point to him pretty quickly and be like, oh, that might be the best player. Just he looks the part.
Yeah, that's how he got drafted. He
looks the part, man. Yeah. Like he does. And he's athletic, dude.
Yeah.
We need athletes.
The world is filled with athletic people who can't play basketball.
He can play basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
No,
okay.
no.
See, now you've started my Taylor Hendricks agenda.
Okay, I'm
Thanks.
sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No.
I didn't mean to do this.
Add him to the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do this. I'm sorry.
Dude, I wish he was playing tonight.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Maybe he'll play tomorrow night. We play tomorrow night, too.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to come in here on March 9th.
You take that back.
I'm going to take it back. You know what? Taylor's career has gotten off to a bumpy start, but he's still a young man.
That's right.
With tons of potential and with proper focus and work ethic. Maybe that could lead to something.
Boom.
That's what I should have said.
Exactly. That is what you should have said.
I take back what I said and I replace it with what I just said. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, hit your button then.
Okay.
Number 2.
College basketball's regular season, it's now in the books. It's championship week.
It is championship week.
We got nothing but tournaments to do now.
Yes.
I hope you're not a regular season college basketball lover. I mean, I hope you are. But I hope you don't prefer it to the tournaments because we ain't got no more regular season. It's nothing but tournaments.
Yeah, tonight I believe we do have 2 finals tonight. We have the Sun Belt Championship. That's what I was talking about. Georgia Southern, they're looking to win their 5th in a row against all odds and win the Sun Belt Championship.
And if there's one thing if Georgia Southern can do it,
so can the University of Memphis.
If Georgia Southern can win 5 games in 5 days, I don't know why the Memphis Tigers can't.
Exactly. We
are now drawing inspiration from Georgia Southern. That's where we're at, Bennett.
We also have the SoCon championship game.
East Tennessee State.
Tonight, ETSU versus Furman.
ETSU, coached by Brooks Savage. I've known Brooks since he was a college student.
Okay.
He was a grad assistant with Bruce Pearl at Tennessee. And then he went with Steve Forbes to East Tennessee.
Okay.
Then he went with Steve Forbes to Wake Forest. And then he got the East Tennessee State job as a former ETSU assistant. And has been great. And, you can't overstate this. This is the type of thing where you win this game tonight.
Now you're on the radar.
I mean, now people are like, should he get the Georgia Tech job?
Right.
I mean, Brooks's life could change tonight. So, I can't wait for that. Thrilled for him. Not rooting against anybody, but, when you know somebody since they were that young.
Oh, we're rooting against Furman.
Yeah, we're rooting against Furman.
Where is Furman?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Probably over there next to Roanoke. You know?
I bet it. Oh, don't bring that up. I've never been so locked into a D3 basketball game in my entire life than that Rhodes game on Friday.
I thought we had it.
Oh, dude, we did have it. I mean, we did have it.
Hey, but let's focus on big picture.
Yeah.
When we look back on Rhodes season, we're gonna remember the good times.
Yes.
Did it end the way we wanted it to?
No.
No, but it doesn't for most, Bennett. We're gonna look back on the good times.
It's the start of something big.
It's the start of something big.
Yeah, we're just getting this thing going.
Oh yeah. If you think that's the last scene of the movie, you're out of your mind.
You are wrong. Furman's in Greenville, South Carolina, by the way.
Probably not too far from Roanoke.
No, she's probably pretty far from Roanoke. Yeah,
I think everything over there is whatever. Anyway, I love the one bid leagues conference tournaments. We sat last night and watched North Dakota State.
A blast. I watched it too.
It's just a blast.
Yeah,
and like you.
Those little gyms, it's the championship game.
Little gyms.
Yeah, packed house.
There's the wife, and she's been taking 3 kids to school every morning, packing lunches, doing everything, while this guy is working 7 days a week, 50 million hours a day, just killing it, trying to win basketball games that most people don't even watch or care about. And then, but it's culminating. Mm-hmm. You go into the big dance. Even like my wife can get behind, she don't really care about a Duke North Carolina game, whatever. But these guys are going to get to go to the NCAA tournament. Yep. And that coach is in tears. And you got no heart if you can't watch the one bid championship games and just fall in love with the drama connected to it. They're awesome.
Yep.
Watched one last night. Going to watch a couple more tonight. The regular season is over, concluded yesterday. And if you want some framework for where we're headed, Duke, Arizona, Michigan have locked up 1 seeds. They could all lose their first games in their conference tournaments by 70 points, and they will still be 1 seeds on Selection Sunday. UConn lost this weekend, and that allows St. John's to be the outright Big East champs. For these purposes, more importantly, it opened up that 4th number 1 probably for Florida. So if Florida wins the SEC tournament as the outright SEC champ, Florida will be the 4th number 1 seed with Duke, Arizona, Michigan. Mm-hmm. If Florida were to lose and Houston were to win the Big 12 tournament, it would probably be Kelvin Sampson's Cougars as the 4th number 1. If both of those teams were to lose, perhaps it opens a door back up for UConn if it wins the Big East tournament. But it is sort of unusual. A week out of Selection Sunday, I can already tell you 3 of the 4 number 1 seeds, and the path to the 4th, it's pretty clear. Florida, it's yours. Win your tournament, you get it. Don't, you might not, but win it, you get it. The top of the bracket, we could go ahead and fill that in pretty good right now.
Number 3.
The Miami Redhawks did it, Bennett. They finished the regular season 31-0.
And talked a little shit in the process.
Yeah, because they've been getting shit talked themselves.
Dude, that was so good. We can't show it because there's middle fingers and you could read lips pretty easily on it. But dude, as soon as that final buzzer sounded, it was Ohio they played, right? Yeah. As soon as that final buzzer sounded, and the Miami players are running towards the student section, flipping them off, I was like, let's go.
Oh, it was great. It was great. No, they got this because here's the truth. Yeah. They are the best story in college basketball. It has become a thing. You don't even have to be a college basketball fan right now to know that the Redhawks are a thing, that Miami, Ohio is a thing, that Wally Zerbiak is a thing. Mm-hmm. It's been fun. And yet it got twisted into a little bit of a negative thing because of Bruce Pearl, who is former coach at Auburn, now the son of Auburn, father of Auburn's coach, and my colleague at CBS Sports. And Bruce was on TV and was arguing, not necessarily against Miami, Ohio, as much as he was just trying to frame the argument. And he said something along the lines of, if they don't get the automatic bid out of their conference, they don't belong in the NCAA tournament because they're not one of the, once you start handing out at-large bids, they don't deserve one based on the metrics that we all use. We have a system in place, and the system tells us what types of teams are at-large candidates. And if I took Miami, Ohio's name off of that and just said, here's what they've done, you would immediately point out they're 0-0 in Quadrant 1. They have 0 Quadrant 1 wins. You would immediately point out that they are 55th in the net. You would immediately point out that they're 91st at KenPom, and you would not say that that's an at-large team. So that's all I'm saying. They better win their conference tournament because on the other side, you got real power conference teams that have played incredible schedules like Auburn. He invoked Auburn in an argument against Miami, Ohio, and that was the misstep. I think he knows that now. It was one of those where if you'd have just left Auburn out of it
and done another team,
or just
yeah,
you would have still had pushback because the counter argument to what Bruce was saying is, yeah, but they haven't lost. And the conversation ends there. All right? Period. They haven't lost. So every number you reference is secondary to the 0 in the loss column. Period. So there would have still been some pushback, but it especially came pretty intensely when it was like, why would you put a team like Miami, Ohio in over Auburn? And people are like, over your son's team that's lost 14 times already. And it just became he just stepped in it a little bit.
And because you have to use common sense that they're a good team. Because the thing is like there's tons of teams all over the country that play bad schedules and end up with good records because they play horrible schedules in lower conferences, whatever. But none of them go undefeated.
The point I've made over and over again is that don't just say they've beaten a bunch of bad teams that they're supposed to beat. That is largely true. But they did win 4 games this season as an underdog. Like, hey, it's tip-off. You're not supposed to win. They won it anyway. Yeah, they're 0-0 in Quadrant 1, but they're 13-0 combined in Quadrant 2 and Quadrant 3. And I know nobody cares about Quadrant 2 and Quadrant 3, but, like, the idea that you just automatically win those games is not true. Guess who isn't undefeated in Quadrant 2 and Quadrant 3? I could name you a bunch of teams. Florida lost a Quadrant 2 game. UConn lost a Quadrant 2 game and a Quadrant 3 game. Auburn has lost games in both Quadrant 2 and Quadrant 3. Now, I know there's a difference between this caliber of Quadrant 2 game and this caliber of Quadrant 2 game and this caliber of Quadrant 3 game and this caliber of Quadrant 3 game. But the point remains the same. Just because you are supposed to win all these games doesn't mean that you should or will. And they've done it. No slip-ups. UConn had just had a slip-up at Marquette as a bigger favorite than Miami, Ohio has been in lots of games this season. They never slipped up. That's worth something. I use this all the time. Every time you see Steph Curry at the free throw line, you expect him to make the free throw. And you're shocked when he doesn't. He's shocked when he doesn't. It's crazy to think he could miss a free throw. But go look at his averages. He misses 1 out of every 10.
Yeah.
Just because you just slip up sometimes. Both shooting free throws and playing basketball games. Except they've never slipped up. And that should be rewarded. So imagine you're them. And at first, people are like, hey, look over here, this Miami. At first, let's be clear, you get no attention. Nobody even knows who your coach is or any of your players. That's where you start. Nobody cares. Then it's December 1st. You're still undefeated. It's January 1st. You're still undefeated. People are starting to pay attention. Now you're the last undefeated team in the sport. People are starting to pay attention. And then you see somebody on TV, a pretty prominent person, say they don't belong. If you put them in the Big East, they'd finish last. You're like, what? Why are you doing this? Like, what? We ain't out here talking crazy about it. Why? So then that gets built, and that's what you saw the other night.
Yeah.
Now they want to tell everybody how good they are or how undefeated they are. And all of that stuff is connected. With Bruce, it's interesting because if he'd have just kept it a numbers argument, he'd have mostly been fine. Or if he'd have kept it a numbers argument and did this thing that I'm about to do, I think mostly been fine. You could say this. Listen, Miami, Ohio, I think they're probably going to be fine no matter what, as long as they don't take 3 losses. But if you start looking at the numbers, I mean, Ken Pom in the 90s, in the net, 50s, 0 Quadrant 1 wins. I want to be clear. I'd put them in because I just think it's fun. And no team that went undefeated in the regular season has ever been left out. So I'd have them in. But the numbers are, if you put them on a neutral court against any of these bubble teams, they would be an underdog.
Yep.
That's just the truth. You leave it there, you're just saying true things. Where he got in trouble was, why would you want Miami, Ohio when you could have my son's team?
Yeah.
And that's where
tough.
It got twisted up. And so then he had to subsequently do interviews about it. And then he got beat up for this a little bit. And I thought this was actually unfair. I thought the Miami Ohio stuff was fine. Fair, get him if you want to. But then he said, listen, I was just talking. I'm talking. And so, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he was like, he's like, I want my son to do well. Yes, of course I do. Like, what, are people mad at me because I want my son to be in the NCAA tournament? Of course I want my son to do well. Of course I do. And then he said, and then people are like, and his son only got the job because it's his son. And he's like, well, of course I worked to help my son get this job. Like, what? Of course. Like, that's not a secret. And people are like, I can't believe he admitted to nepotism live on a podcast. And I'm not bothered by that at all. Because of course he helped his son get the job. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
His son has no ability to get a job like that without his dad. And this is actually even more extreme than some of the other ones you see, because Stephen Pearl has literally never worked in basketball for anybody other than his father. So sometimes you'll see like John Calipari's son, and he'll be on staff with John, but then he'll go work for Derek Kellogg or go work for somebody, somebody else.
Yeah.
And like
Richard Pitino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Richard Pitino worked for Rick, but then you know who he worked for? Billy Donovan.
Yep.
It was like, go work for somebody else. And then you start asking about this person, and it's like, so how's Rick's kid? Oh, he's sharp. Richard, real sharp. And then you talk to Billy, and it's like, oh yeah, Richard, like real sharp. I hired him, and I mean, he's my best assistant. And so it's not just coming from the dad; it's coming from other people. You're working for other people, and you develop this reputation, good or bad. Stephen never had an opportunity to do that. He's worked for, like, this is true. Like, it's just, I just said, like, it's okay to just say true things. This is a true thing. Stephen Pearl is now an SEC basketball coach making millions of dollars a year for, honestly, no other reason than he was born as Bruce Pearl's oldest son. Like, he hasn't done anything in any sort of tangible way to secure that spot. And if he would have made himself available for any job in America after last season, he couldn't have got even an interview for a job like this. So, of course, it's nepotism, like in the most dramatic way. If you want to be mad about that, be mad about that. But, like, I didn't understand why people were mad because Bruce acknowledged it publicly. I was like,
no, it doesn't bother me.
It was like, well,
I mean, dude, if I ever have the chance to help my son one day get a job, I'm going to do it.
Of course, like, that's the thing. Like, would you, if you were Bruce Pearl, would you not?
I'd do the exact same thing he did.
Except I actually said this to a coach, and you know what the coach said back to me? I'm not sure I would. And the coach said, because I am setting my son up to, in this case, apples to apples. Bruce Pearl's the most successful coach in Auburn basketball history. What do people always tell you? Don't ever follow that guy.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So you're setting your son up to follow the legend that other coaches say don't even do that ever.
Mm-hmm.
You never want to follow the best coach at a school because you are probably going to not meet his standards. That's the Josh Pastner and John Calipari story. Josh Pastner wasn't bad. He just wasn't John Calipari. So you got to go after 7 years. So this coach was like, I don't know that I would want my son following me if I were Bruce Pearl. A, because it's going to be hard, even if he's great. And what if he's not great? Like, what if you're just blinded by your love for your son? You don't even know if he's really good at running a basketball program because he's never worked anywhere other than right next to you. Like, this coach was like, I would not have wanted I would have wanted my son to go be I would have told my son 2 years ago, go be an assistant for my best friend at this other school. And I've seen this in other professions. Like, Jay Billis has a son who worked in media. Named Anthony. You know where he worked? With us at CBS. Intentionally. I don't think Jay wanted him at ESPN. Like, go do it on your own. I can make a phone call and get you in over at CBS, maybe, but you need to go to a different building.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't know Anthony was Jay's kid, he ain't gonna tell you. It's not something that comes up. I noticed that. And that was a family decision that I thought was interesting. You don't think Jay Billis could pick up the phone and get his son an internship at ESPN or probably even a job? But he was just sitting over there on the back row doing research at CBS Sports Network, totally anonymously. And so this coach was sort of making that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's easy to say if you were Bruce Pearl, you'd do the same thing, but I don't know that I would. Anyway, when I was sort of looking at the pushback that he received, it reminded me of something I got myself into, where I had a similar blind spot for what I was saying. I was just like, I'm making a good point, without realizing this point cannot come from me, not right now. You won't remember this. Nobody will remember this. But it was year 2, because the point I'm trying to make here is like, if you're Bruce Pearl, you can make a perfectly solid college basketball analyst point about Miami, Ohio. But when you start saying, why would you want them when you've got a power conference team like my son's team that played the toughest schedule and has already won at Florida? When you start trying to pit your son's team against Miami, Ohio, even if you're making a good argument, it can't come from you because you lose everybody quickly. It was year 2 of the Penny Hardaway era. People will forget this based on where we're at now. And it was not going well. Number 1 recruiting class in America, James Wiseman, DJ Jeffries, Precious Achiuwa. Was that all the same team?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 1 recruiting class in America. Wiseman quits the team a week before Christmas. DJ Jeffries suffers an injury before February 1st. And they're like struggling all of a sudden.
Yep.
And people were really banging on Penny. Oh, it's what happens when you hire a high school coach. It's what happens when you hire an AAU coach. Oh, Memphis, we told you you were being silly. And they were just banging on him. And at the time, there was some business relationship between Facebook and CBS Sports. And I was doing weekly videos strictly for Facebook through CBS Sports. Just like, hey, GP, we need 2 minutes. Write a 2-minute monologue. Put it in a prompter. We'll tape it in studio. Put it on Facebook. And it would just be me standing. I'd follow the camera, and I'd just talk about whatever I wanted to talk about. And this week, I decided, you know what? I'm finally going to do a Penny Hardaway one. And the point I did make, I said, listen, everybody's out there banging on Penny Hardaway right now in year 2, about to miss the NCAA tournament for the 2nd straight year. But and the reason they're doing it is because he had the number 1 recruiting class in America and a preseason ranked team, and now it looks like they're going to miss the NCAA tournament. And I was like, but you realize that number 1 recruiting class, the best prospect quit the team before Christmas. And one of the other best prospects just suffered an injury. He's done for the season. So yeah, Penny Hardaway's struggling in year 2. After losing 2 of his top 3 players. What are we talking about? And I mean, I wrote it. It was well thought out. I had the numbers to support it. And then I did it. And I couldn't wait to tweet it. And I was like, this is going to be good. Like, all these idiots out there banging on Penny Hardaway. Well, wait till I explain to him. He's missing 2 of his top 3 players. What do you take 2 of John Calipari's top 3 players? You got problems. Take 2 of Mick Cronin's top 3 players. You got problems. So, like, maybe we'll find out Penny Hardaway can't do this job. But insisting it's now after he lost 2 of his top 3 players seems crazy to me. I thought it was good. I just got shit on all over it. You want to know why? Every word I said was true. Every word I said, you couldn't really argue against. You know the only thing anybody heard? Oh, God. It's the Memphis graduate down in Memphis defending his favorite basketball player as a child. The guy, remember the guy in Memphis who was down there yelling, fire Tubby Smith, a legend, and hire the high school coach? Well, now that it's not going so well, like we told you it wouldn't, he's out there saying, well, but what you don't understand is he's lost 2 of his 3 best players. Nobody wanted to hear it from me. If Andy Katz would have made the exact same video, people would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess. I didn't realize he lost 2 of his top 3 players. That's tough. I mean, if Duke lost 2 of their top 3 players, I bet that'd be tough. If John Rothstein would have made the same video, it would have been received, but it couldn't come from me because it sounded like I was defending the person I wanted to coach my alma mater now that it's not going well. And that is exactly what happened to Bruce Pearl for different reasons. Even if what he said could be backed up by data, it can't come from you when you're invoking Auburn and it's your son who is coaching Auburn. And so that's how you get this little Bruce Pearl, Miami, Ohio rivalry, Auburn, Miami, Ohio rivalry thing we got going. It would be interesting, like if they both got into the first 4 and played each other in Dayton. That would be amazing. At this point, most people think, A, Auburn's not going to get there, and B, Miami's going to do better than the first 4. But it's became a thing, so much so that they put Travis Steele and Bruce Pearl on TV together. He's the Miami coach, and they had fun with that little scene. And so it's been a little storyline permeating throughout college basketball. But either way, the big story is Miami is 31-0, regardless of how good anybody thinks they are. They're still undefeated.
Number 4.
Sweet scene at Nebraska yesterday. I don't spend much time talking about Nebraska basketball, and I'm not going to now, other than to tell you that, I love this yesterday. So you know the story at this point. That's Fred Hoiberg. Yesterday was senior day. His son, Sam, is on the team. He's got another son, Charlie, who is a manager on the team. Older son, Jack, in the crowd. Daughter, Paige, in the crowd. Wife, Carol, in the crowd. And just everything about it. You saw Fred tearing up. There's Carol. And Fred said after the game, and the post game, he said, listen, I want to make sure people understand my wife, just having her and all the kids out there, the whole family. I think girlfriend included probably. He's like, having everybody out there just really meant the world because every basketball coach says this. And if you're curious, it's true for basketball columnists and analysts as well. You just miss a lot. You just do. And he was like, my wife has raised our children in basketball seasons largely by herself. I was a player for years and then a coach for years. And without her, like however, he's like, I'm proud of my children. Like this is amazing, but like it's my wife. And same thing in my family. Like our oldest son has turned into an amazing young man. I give her all the credit. And if I'm being honest, I would say it's in spite of me more than because of me. But like the wives and the mothers in this world are, you couldn't do it without them. I even had Joni Crean talk to me one time, Tom Crean's wife. And she was like, the hardest times are when you get so used to your husband being on this ridiculous schedule that he's on that it almost becomes more difficult when he's not on that schedule. Like she's like, we got a certain schedule a rhythm to the way our family works. And, you know, when suddenly husband, dad is not coaching basketball in between jobs and is just home every day, it's like, you almost like get in the way. It's like, yo, this is the way we do this thing. You're in like, hey, we get, and so it's an interesting family dynamic. And I like that Fred took a moment to recognize that yesterday. And then his son in the post game, he was like, you know, because he watched his dad get fired. I thought about this. Most of us don't have parents who have public jobs, right? Like whatever my dad worked his whole life and could have good days or bad days at work. How would I know? You know, how would I know whether my dad's good at his job or bad at his job? Same thing with my mother. How would I know whether she was good at her job or bad at her job? How would I know if she had a good day or a bad day? But when you're the son of a basketball coach, particularly an NBA coach or college coach like this, the whole world tells you every day if you're good, if your dad's good or bad at his job, right?
Yep.
And Sam just sort of, he's like, that was hard watching my dad struggle in his job with the Bulls and have everybody say how terrible he is as a you know, just how many times have you ever heard somebody say your dad is terrible?
No.
Never.
Yeah.
All right. It's not something most people have to experience. And yet when you're the son of a coach, like that's just a weird thing.
Yep.
And so he said yesterday, he was like, I was hard watching my dad, but he said, but I knew my dad was a great basketball coach. I knew he was because I've been around it. And I know how badly. And so to be able to watch him remake his career and be a part of it, wow. Because he's an important part of it. And there was a moment yesterday, I don't know if you saw the game. It went to overtime and they won. But it was Sam Hoiberg at the buzzer of a tie game at regulation. If he hit that shot, the place would. It would have been an all-time great father-son college basketball moment. He missed it. They went to overtime, whatever. But he said, and to be able to do this with my dad, like there's nobody I look up to more than him. And I've seen him struggle with his job and the toll it takes on him. And to be able to do this with him, like the best. And it's like, wow, like the whole thing is just beautiful. As you know, Nebraska, only power conference program in the sport to never win a game in the NCAA tournament. That is almost certainly going to change this month. They're going to be the 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. And at this moment would be projected as a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. I don't know whether it's Travis still at Miami, Ohio, or Fred Hoiberg at Nebraska. Maybe you could make an argument. Certainly you could for John Shire at Duke or Dusty May at Michigan or Tommy Lloyd at Arizona. But if you wanted to hand the National Coach of the Year to Fred Hoiberg, not only for what he's done this season, but for what he's done at a school where things like this aren't supposed to happen, it wouldn't be a hard argument to make. He's been awesome there, and yesterday was a really nice scene.
Number 5.
Why are we shooting at Rihanna's house?
What's going on?
Well, a woman allegedly fired shots, at least in the direction of Rihanna's house. She was home. She is uninjured. Unclear if ASAP Rocky and the kids were there. She has 3 of them with Rocky.
Yeah. I saw it was an AK-47, I believe.
Yikes.
It was fired at the home. Yeah.
Why were you doing that, you think?
I don't really know. I sent you this story, honestly, without diving too deep into it. It just was one of those headlines that was like, yeah, that seems like something we would talk about. So I don't know a lot of the details of what happened.
Well, Bennett, let me help you.
Yeah.
Rihanna, she was just doing what I think any of us would have been doing on a Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
Just chilling.
That's what I was doing. Yeah.
She's probably watching a PGA Tour.
Yep.
She's probably watching a playoff between Daniel Berger. And then a woman opened a fire with an AR-15 style rifle.
Uh-huh.
4 rounds or fragments hit parts of the property. The suspected shooter was taken into custody. Her name has not been released yet.
I think it has.
It has been released.
Ivana Ortiz is the suspect. She's being held on a $10.2 million bail. This just came out within the past couple minutes from the LA Times.
Well, do you have a motive?
We do not have a motive for the attack.
ASAP Rocky, he was accused of shooting a fella. You know that, right?
That's true. She was in the courtroom supporting him.
Not guilty, they said.
Not guilty. That's right. Is this retaliation?
Good for Rocky. Is this? You think these things are connecting?
I couldn't begin to know. I couldn't begin
to know either. And where is Nancy Guthrie?
God, that's the question everyone's wondering the answer to.
What is going on out there?
I don't know what's going on out there.
What is going on out there?
A lot.
There's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You think these things are connected?
I do not. I do not believe so.
So what do you think? You think it's just a woman just decided she got to shoot up Rihanna's house on a Sunday? Hey, what are you doing later on today? I'm going to shoot Rihanna's house.
That would be a...
Like when somebody asks me, what are you doing later on today? I say things like, I was thinking about maybe laying down, taking a nap. That's the type of stuff I say. But somebody said, I'm going to shoot Rihanna's house up.
I mean, that would be a hell of a coincidence for this to be a random attack. I would assume it's targeted towards Rihanna.
Or maybe towards Rocky, retaliation.
Yeah.
Perhaps it was just to send a message. Do you think they were sending a message in Beverly Hills yesterday?
I couldn't begin to speculate, but...
I could begin to speculate. I love to speculate.
Yeah, I could begin to speculate too. I mean, something's going on here.
I don't like it when people say, I couldn't begin to speculate. Why couldn't you begin to speculate? I can always begin to speculate.
Something's going on here.
I'll speculate right now.
Yeah.
I think something's going on.
What's going on with Ivana Ortiz? Let me see if I can get some...
I think something's going on. And here's why I think that. Because, Bennett, has your house ever been shot up?
It has not.
Has my house never been shot up?
Has it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. Mine has not.
Okay. And Rihanna, she lives in a nice neighborhood.
I have been a few houses down from a house that has been shot up before.
Okay, Bennett, you're really in the streets.
Yeah, well, I moved, but yes, I have been.
Okay. Rihanna has a nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's common for houses to get shot up in Beverly Hills. I don't think that's common.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's certain parts in this world where, like, your house might get shot up, and it ain't no fault of yours. It's just, this is where you live, and sometimes houses get shot up.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. That's not this. This is Beverly Hills. I don't think it's common for houses to get shot up in Beverly Hills. That makes me think this is intentional. That makes me think this was a targeted attack.
She parked her car out in front of the house and started firing into the house. So,
that seems very intentional.
Seems about
that
as
seems
targeted
the most
as it
intentional.
gets, buddy.
Well, I'm glad everybody's okay.
I'm glad everyone's okay, too. I doubt this is the last we hear of this story. This seems like something that we're going to need a follow-up on.
Well, I wouldn't mind hearing Miss Ortiz,
I'd like an explanation.
I would like an explanation.
Ivana.
If you're going to fire shots into Rihanna's house, I'd at least like to know why.
Yeah.
At least I'm still not ruling out Rocky's involved somehow. He's a little slippery, I think. I think Rocky,
I like A$AP Rocky.
I love A$AP Rocky.
I saw a movie with him recently that was really good.
He sampled a Lucero song.
Yeah, he was in that. It's nominated for an Oscar. If I had legs,
I'd kick you.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He was in it.
A$AP Rocky, will you accept this? Great looking rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Good looking man.
Mm-hmm.
You can see why he ended up with Rihanna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sampled a Lucero song.
That's pretty awesome.
It was it was the lead track on one of his albums.
That's pretty sick.
I like Rocky.
I do too.
But he's a little slippery.
I'm going to need an explanation from Miss Ivana.
He's always in some stuff, that Rocky. He's a little slippery. I'm just not ruling it out. I'm not saying anything.
You said it.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just not ruling it out.
Okay.
All right. We'll get an update on this.
Fair enough.
I'm going to need an explanation, though. We'll get an update on this.
Good.
Be back with Carryout.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person who will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's a person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to give you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let other fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Each challenge is unique, so each game plan is customized to identify opportunity and the path to victory. It's true in basketball, it's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle with personalized planning and advice. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by May 30th, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Rumored to be one of only 18 in existence. Plated with the very same tungsten that forged the International Space Station. And wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
New Amsterdam Vodka is an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies. It's the only exceptionally smooth vodka that is 5 times distilled, 3 times filtered, and rated 93 points. New Amsterdam believes wins big and small become legendary when you celebrate them with your crew. So here's to the blue, white, and gold, the Memphis grit and grind, and reliving winning moments big and small with Tennessee's favorite basketball team. New Amsterdam Vodka. Find your wins.
Chance to win free Sonic. Just hit the link pinned in the YouTube chat to enter for a Sonic gift card. Jump into the chat, hang with us, and maybe even eat free Sonic 2. Let's do GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
I swear this weekend, as I was like just sort of thinking through things, like, you know, ways to get your point across more clearly for the people who need it clearer. And I was like, it would be like, I was just sort of thinking through my head. This is really how I spend my life. I just sit around thinking of things all day long. I was like, it would be like, what you have to understand, it would be like this. If I said, hey, Bennett, listen, you're great, but the button pushing, like so what we're going to do is we're going to bring you back for next year, and we're just going to see how it goes with the button pushing. Yeah. And like, you know, we're either going to be great at button pushing or we're not going to be great at button pushing. And that'll tell us what we need to do. But like, we have clear standards moving forward with the buttons. Do we all? And then everybody would just understand, and we'd all just listen to the show every day. And if Bennett was awesome with the buttons consistently, oh man, we'd do it again. Yeah. But like, if the button stuff just wasn't, then we would all know what needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one way I was going to make my point. I want to be clear. You have job security forever. I don't care what you do with those buttons.
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
You have job security forever.
Thanks.
As long as I have job security, you have job security. I don't care what you do with those buttons.
Yeah.
Because in real life, I would probably be aggravated by the, but in this life, I actually enjoy it. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I don't need to be perfect.
Well, my button pushing machine is I have the demo mode button pushing machine. Roser and CJ have the authentic button pushing machine that's way easier than the demo mode that I'm using.
Oh, you know what
and so I have to do a lot more toggling than they do.
Yeah.
So like, if anyone wants to take me out of demo mode, I will happily get better at pressing these buttons. But unfortunately, I have to toggle.
You know what this sounds like? Well, I mean, I lost all my players from last season, and I had to start from scratch.
That's what's happening right here.
They didn't have to start from scratch at South Florida. This is what they call excuse making. But I hear you. But that is genuinely how I was going to make my point. Like, just imagine if I told Bennett, all right, like, by this time next year, we know what is expected from us.
Yep.
But I would never put you on the hot seat.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're not on the hot seat. You are not on the hot seat.
Thank you.
All right? I think the question is, what did we miss today?
What did we miss today?
Hey, I got news. Breaking news. NFL breaking news.
What's going on?
Can I interest you in a Kenneth Walker?
Where's he going? Not back to Seattle.
I can't wait. There's a not 0% chance that at some point today, the biggest pop star in the world might tweet, "Welcome to Kansas City, Kenneth Walker," because he's going to be a Chief.
No, he's not.
That's what Pat McAfee said.
Interesting.
That's what Adam Schefter said on Pat McAfee.
It's a big get for them.
Taylor Swift has her a new running back.
That's a big get for them. It was kind of starting to trend towards that way. Man, I know that like running backs don't get paid, all that kind of stuff. I get it, but man, he just won you a Super Bowl. I feel like that's one of those where you just have to say, I know that's not how people do this, but this guy just won us a Super Bowl. Maybe we should reward him for that.
Ain't no loyalty in a salary-capped world.
That's very true.
Ain't no loyalty in a salary-capped world, Bennett.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay.
According to the Pat McAfee show, our own Kenneth Walker is now Taylor Swift's favorite running back. Just think about that for a second. Imagine if you graduate from high school and somebody says, "Young man, I can't tell you exactly how it's going to happen. But in the year 2026, in a span of a few months, you will both be a Super Bowl MVP and the new favorite running back for the big pop star in the world." That's your life, Kenneth Walker.
Pretty cool.
The coolest.
It's a hell of a life.
That's a hell of a life.
Yeah, good for him, man.
Good for him. Congratulations to him.
What's today's biggest game?
All right. Southern Conference Championship game.
Okay.
6 o'clock on ESPN. They're doing it at the Harrah's Cherokee Center in Asheville, North Carolina. It's Furman against East Tennessee State. Shouts to Keith Mr. Jennings. You're too young for Keith Mr. Jennings. You don't remember Mr. Jennings?
Probably not, yeah.
dude. There's this little guard. There's this little guard. Memphis would play East Tennessee State every year at the Coliseum. Bye game, you know? And there was this little 4-year guard at East Tennessee State called Keith. His name is Keith Jennings. His nickname was Mr. Jennings.
Yeah.
And he was probably not as awesome as I remember, but I remember him being like the most amazing mid-major player ever. And I've just always talked about Mr. Jennings. And so when Steve Forbes got the East Tennessee State job, he sent me a East Tennessee State thing, and it was autographed by Mr. Jennings. He's like, I know how much you appreciate this.
How about that?
I am the owner of a Mr. Jennings autograph.
Former White Station guard Courtney Pigram played at East Tennessee State as well.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Tonight, we are all Bucks. We're rooting for Brooks Savage, former Tennessee assistant, now the head coach at East Tennessee State. Win this one tonight, you go into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
You go to the NCAA tournament, while all these coaches are getting fired, somebody's going to look for somebody to hire. And they're going to start looking at your Wikipedia page, and they're going to go, oh, he's young, he's got a nice family, and he's winning, and he seems energetic, and he used to work for Bruce Pearl, and okay. Really, you could be playing for... This is not crazy. Win this game tonight, you could have a $15 million contract in two weeks.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Lose this game tonight, you just coach at East Tennessee State next season, probably. Yeah. But, this is the type of thing. I always say Andy Enfield, the day before that NCAA tournament started, nobody knew who he was. And then they upset somebody in the first round. They got the cameras on the wife in the crowd. She's a model. Now you got these visuals going viral. Dunk City.
Yep.
Next thing you know, he's the USC coach. Next thing you know, he's the SMU coach. He's been a power conference coach ever since. Yeah. Your life can change in these moments. If Andy Enfield doesn't win his conference tournament championship game, they don't go to the NCAA tournament. They don't upset anybody. You don't ever see his wife on TV. None of that. It's like a real sliding doors moment. And for Brooks Savage tonight, this is possibly that moment.
Yeah.
Just pick them. We're picking them.
It's ETSU.
It's ETSU.
Yeah, they're 1.5 point favorite.
Yeah.
We're going with them. We're rooting for them. Good luck tonight, guys.
Good luck tonight, guys. Yeah. Let's go Bucks.
What are we watching on TV?
Can I interest you in a Harry Styles concert that dropped on Netflix?
Oh, I saw people talking about this. Maybe. I dabble. I like Harry Styles. He's good.
Harry Styles' new album out.
Yep.
Had a new concert live from Manchester, drop on Netflix yesterday. After North Dakota State last night, we turned it on.
Was it good?
It's fine.
He's a good pop star.
If I'm being transparent, I don't understand how he's become everything he's become. Other than he can sing and he's good looking. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, the songs, I don't understand how he's become as the songs don't hit like big. How many huge pop songs will he have 20 years from now?
Interesting. I mean, it's very similar to...
I should also say I'm 49 years old. I'm not I'm an old man.
Yeah.
But I do listen to new music and all different kinds of music. So I'm not completely blind here. But as I'm how about this? When I see Taylor Swift, I went to the Eras Tour. And when I'm there at the Eras Tour. And even when I just hear, if you just put on a Taylor Swift's greatest hits, you know all those songs.
Yeah.
You know all those songs. And, she did a 3-hour concert, you know all those songs. And those songs are going to be, some of those songs are going to be known forever. They'll pop on the radio in 30 years and you'll still know every word. How many of those does Harry Styles have?
That's a good question. I mean, that Watermelon Sugar song was a massive summer hit.
He has some.
Yeah. It's kind of similar to Timberlake in the sense where he was the most popular guy in a boy band, for lack of a better term.
But I think Harry Styles is past Timberlake.
And then he went solo and had this massive solo career.
But I think Harry Styles...
But JT has more memorable solo songs than Harry Styles does.
Maybe, but I think Harry Styles is bigger than Justin Timberlake ever was.
I'd have to dive into the numbers.
Dude, he just sold out 30 nights at Madison Square Garden.
That's insane. Yeah, that's pretty
wild.
From
August something to September something. Right around, we looked at it. We might go. We have some friends who And they were like, well, y'all want to go? And I was like, I'll go. I just like going to do things.
He's also an international star. Like, he's got the UK and America. So,
but I was like, I'll go. I just like doing things. Like, would I go by myself to see Harry Styles? No. Would I turn it into a trip and let's just all go? And one of the things we happen to do is go see Harry Styles? Sure. And so it's also like during the U.S. Open. So it was like, we can go up to see the Mets. We can go to the U.S. Open. Go see Harry Styles at the Garden. He has 30 dates. 30 dates! In the span of time. It's like maybe about a month and a half. And in that month and a half, he's doing 30 dates at Madison Square Garden. All of them sold out. And if you want a decent ticket to any of them, $1,000.
Damn.
Any of them. So imagine being so in demand that you can sell out the Garden 30 nights in a short period of time, and then the secondary market immediately takes the prices to crazy places.
That's pretty wild.
Like, that's bigger. I think that's bigger than Justin Timberlake. Even if maybe Justin Timberlake had bigger hits. But now I am sort of, I think the water's a little too deep for me. Anyway, we watched it last night. I thought it was fine.
Okay.
He's very good. He's a very good pop star. But as I'm watching it, I'm like, and keep in mind, Harry Styles' album comes out, I listen to it, and then I hear the songs when you bump into them.
Yeah. I
just want to be aware of what it is, and then and I don't go back to it too much. Same thing with Taylor Swift. I'll listen to it, but I don't go back to it too much. Then I just hear it wherever you hear it.
Yeah, right.
But the thing I recognized as I was watching this last night is if I put on the Taylor Swift Eras Tour show from Disney Plus or wherever it is, I would know all those songs. But with Harry Styles, I don't know all these songs because they're just not out in the wild the way they would be for Taylor Swift. You bump into all these Taylor Swift songs, whether you want to or not. And I don't feel like you bump into all the Harry Styles songs, whether you want to or not.
I'd agree with that.
But the concert was fine.
Okay.
And if we decide to go see him at the Garden, I'll let you know.
Okay, good.
All right. You can find Harry Styles concert live from Manchester. It's on Netflix right now.
What's the best thing we've read?
Top 25 and 1, updated over at CBSSports.com. I wrote about the senior day scene at Nebraska yesterday with Fred and Carol and the kids. I just thought it was sweet. Got a video. Our old buddy Clayton Collier, who now works in Nebraska.
Oh yeah, he's a Nebraska guy.
Yeah,
that's right.
So he tweeted the video of Fred talking about Carol in the post game. So I used that in the piece. You can find it on the homepage CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Tuesday. Be looking back at Grizzlies Nets. See who wants it less. See who wants it less. Let's see who's serious about AJ DeBonsa.
Well, I don't know if you looked at their record. They're going to be hard to catch. They're good at this.
Yeah, but we're not necessarily trying to catch them.
Yeah.
We're just trying to stack L's.
Yeah, I get that because I'm telling you, bro, they're good at this. They have mastered this.
They really want AJ DeBonsa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so do we. So do we.
Yes, we do.
So let's see who wants it.
Okay.
Let's see who's more serious about this tonight.
Okay.
Let's see who's more serious about this tonight.
Yep.
Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to try to enjoy mine. It's me back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.